for the last 30 minutes, I've been stun locked and dooming and venting and frustrated about, Monogatari fandom. And here's a really interesting thing too. Again, right? I understand how like egotistical and narcissistic I sound when I say stuff like, I made all this fucking great content and you can't even appreciate it. You are a fraudulent audience and it does me no good to like, again, say these things no matter how much I wanted to. I do believe though that like my Monogatari reactions, my Baki reactions, my Kizu reactions are elite. This may be a delusion, but I genuinely believe that, and I think that the amount of people that are paying on Patreon as well as showing up on Twitch, the hardcore audience, the people that actually do watch it, can acknowledge like the quality of the content. So when I like start ranting and rambling about this shit, right, it really like gets to my head because here's the thing. Nothing good ever comes from me showing my human side. And I've noticed this in the past as well, where venting and frustrations about, wow, people aren't watching this, it never does anything good. Because first things first, when you get angry at a certain reaction series that like no one's watching it and call them frauds, what are you doing? You are actively dismissing and hurting the small group of people that are willing to support you for this niche show that nobody else is pulling up for. You know what I mean? So it's a really weird thing where I'm just so fucking mad. I'm so angry that during the height of Bake, during the most pivotal moments, the viewership is fucking dead, not necessarily because the content is bad. And so many other series, again, does perfectly well. It's a very series-specific thing. I am very aware to know that I'm not like the best reactor or that my content is perfect, but I can also acknowledge that there's many other shows that the viewership is perfectly fine and people are praising and just loving it. And there are some shows where as a reaction channel, you are very limited. You can't do anything about it. And it's not because the content is bad, it's because of how the algorithm works and how the algorithm determined who your audience to be. And depending on what kind of box that you've been siloed into, you are limited in the type of content you can make. That's why a lot of content creators on YouTube, they are not successful, not because they're not charming, that they don't have personality, that they don't make good content, but it's more of that great content never even reached the doors of the audience it was intended for. And it's so fucking frustrating. And this is what I did for Index, right? What I did for Index was I just ran it down mid. The viewership was terrible. I know. And it's a very terrible situation where people actively voted, like how they voted for Monogatari and Nisei as well. And it is completely delusional to assume Nisei Monogatari will suddenly rekindle the viewership. Yeah, maybe some people will come out just for episode 8 for a specific lolicon moment because that's all they're saying. Oh, it's just the memes, it's just a shocking moment. But if no one watches the entirety of the show and you only show up for like 5% of it, that is an extremely fraudulent series to do. And that is a problem that exists in reaction series in many different channels too, not just mine. Plenty of others suffer the same things where their audience votes something in, yet they don't actually watch it. They say they're going to come out and watch, but that's not really what their actions determine. It's not always the case, but there's some cases like that, and you can't really do much to mitigate it, right? Because this is not a perfect world, you're not supposed to have perfect solutions. And again, when I was watching Index, every time I react to it, I'm pouring my heart into it, knowing that it's going to get literally no views, and I'm literally burning money, killing my channel for what? For completionism, because the fans voted for it, because they technically wants to watch Railgun T and other shows, not the specific thing. You know what I mean? And it's just so fucking frustrating. The level of like love and passion that I pour from it. And this is not a video that I'm making right now saying Monogatari anime series is bad. No, I'm upset because I love this series, yet it's not receiving the same level of appreciation that I'm putting in. And in the game of YouTube, complaining like this does you no good. Again, right? Because when you complain and you say, fuck you guys for not watching this, you don't deserve this, I'm gonna drop this, what are you doing? You're throwing a tantrum like a child. You're a kid crying on the ground that you can't get what you wanted. And even though, again, I'm a human too. I try to be very professional about the way that I present myself, even if you think it's funny that like I will say bald that and bald that. Again, the way that I like navigate through content creation, I think is very professional. And there are times where I kill my emotion in order to just smile and give you good times and put the content out there, and that's how it keeps going. But there's sometimes too, man, where my honest, deep desires come out, and I truly do believe these fucking fraudulent audiences that voted for this does not deserve this fucking quality of content. I don't think there's many other reactions that can even keep up with this level of fucking detail, yet my shit don't get fucking on there. Because again, that's how YouTube works, and this is a ramblings of a fucking loser that's mad that it's not going his way. And if you do that again, you hurt the small quality of people that showed up trying to support you even though no one else was there. And that's the problem. You are getting mad at the people that want to help you out when no one else is showing up. So it's really backwards. You know what I mean? And it's just so fucking frustrating and annoying. And who knows what the Death Note situation will be. I think that it's going to be a bit different due to how mainstream it is. I don't think it's going to be a very niche, you know, isolated system like that. But goddamn, man, this is Index 3 all over again. And seeing at the recent performance of the Bake reactions, especially with the Senjo, you know, Araragi date episode, God, what a peak episode that was. If this is the extent of, you know, if this is the extent of what the performance will be like for this series, why would I continue with Nisei and put it on YouTube as well? I've already watched episode 1. It was pretty decent. It's already edited for YouTube and it's ready to go up when it's time to. But there's a part of me thinking, I just want to drop this shit. It's such a fucking fraudulent audience. Maybe I just take it Patreon exclusive only and I focus on other stuff too, right? But I said on the YouTube side that like I would do Nisei and Death Note in tandem, and that there is enough time. There straight up is enough slots to do it. I could simply pick another show too though, right? I could literally just triple or double down on Death Note and pick another community series too to replace Nisei on YouTube side. Straight up, that's something I could do as well. I'm just conflicted, man. I'm just conflicted right now because every single Monogatari reaction that I put out there is just L after L. Not necessarily because, again, that the content is bad, but because of the packaging of the content and the lack of the audience that exists within my community. And it's so fucking frustrating. And the more frustrating thing is, the more that I show you my human side and my vulnerabilities and how upset I am, it backfires. It actually backfires more. And it's best for me to just shut the fuck up and just simply react. But again, I'm a human too. I'm prone to making mistakes. I'm not a perfect person. And there's again a part of me that just wants to rant and just like do an action, drop the series to hurt, to send a message to those that didn't even show up for it. But here's the thing. Those people are the ones that's actively supporting the content, no matter how few they may be. And now I'm at a crossroads of, do I even want to continue this shit? I mean, I genuinely enjoy the show. That's why I've continued up until Bake and Kizu. And I think that after watching my content, you should be aware of like how much I care about this. You know what I mean? And here's another thing too. Me making videos like this, threatening my audience that like, oh, I'm going to drop it, man. I'm going to drop this shit. If you don't watch, you better show up. That never works too. In the game of YouTube, you need authentic, genuine interest. Threatening and strongholding your audience and gatekeeping that content is not how you authentically grow YouTube viewership. And it's a very bad precedence to place in the channel, and you come off as an entitled loser. And this is the limit of a reaction channel, man. This is actually the problem with reaction channels and why I constantly pull in order to mitigate this from happening. Because this happened a long time ago too with Bunny Girl Senpai. Bunny Girl Senpai was one of the first series that I ever did a community reaction for, and it was great in the beginning. But a little bit of spoilers. Basically, it covers the main character's arc, the main girl's arc, in a couple episodes. In the first like 3 to 4 episodes, then it's done. Then 80% of the season is delving into other characters, and most people don't care about it, and they didn't come out to watch it. So what should you do as a reaction channel then? Do you just drop the show in the middle in order to jump to something new to optimize for the algorithm? Or do you just tank it and finish it for the sake of completionism? Me, I think that there is some kind of compromise to be made in between, where you should be aware of the lack of interest and you should pivot when necessary. And that's why we constantly pull for new seasons as well. I don't just go into a brand new season of an anime for a long saga just because we're watching it, right? So that is a compromise I've made. So I think that this is the nature of reaction content. You may think that it's so easy to just make reaction content, and there's a lot of pros with it. The pros is that you're never out of content. It's an endless backlog of new animes as well as old animes and relative news about said animes that you can keep covering. But here's a limitation. You are limited by the specific series that you're watching. No matter how good of a content creator you are, it's extremely hard to pull in people who don't actually watch the shows and to actually watch it through your reaction for the first time. Now, I think that I've actually procured a decent size of community that actually does do that. And that's cool, right? I think like a true reactor should be able to have such compelling content that people are now watching you for your commentary and your reactions for anything. They don't really care about what you're watching. They just know, oh, it's something I've heard of. I've never watched it. Let me watch it for the first time. And a lot of people actually did comments saying, you know, I've checked out Baki for the first time due to your reactions, and I'm so glad that I got into it. And that really makes me happy. But that's a very insignificant pool of the audience in the grand scheme of things, right? How many people really are doing that? 100 maybe? I doubt less than 100. If you consider the size of viewership that exists on YouTube. Let's say a video gets like 10,000 views, like Baki episode 1, right? How many of those people are actually, you know, coming out for the first time? Very little. And this is the unfortunate reality of reaction channels, man. The unfortunate reality is you are limited by the series that you're covering, and sometimes there is no way out of it. Sometimes you just get fucked, and no matter how much that you try to mitigate the damage, such as engaging the audience of the polls, it doesn't matter, because the people voting on the polls, again, not all of them actually care about watching the content. They simply vote for it because they don't care about some other shows, or they vote for it because they only care about a specific moment. And there's nothing that I can do to change that, right? People's, like, I can't just say, hey, stop voting for shows or stuff that you don't care about. This actually happened for Fate Zero as well. Fate Zero was a very frustrating moment too, where I think it was such an elite anime, yet the reception of Fate Zero on YouTube was dead. It was absolutely fucking dead, and people didn't actually care about it. And again, that's just reality. And I need to work within reality. And sometimes it's better, again, to just kill your emotion rather than venting and ranting. I mean, what am I doing right now? I'm venting and ranting, but like I do it in a very interesting way, right? Basically, I complain, but I complain in a way where I'm basically like I'm like breaking down my childish rants in a third-party spectator mode, explaining to you why I'm mad, why I'm frustrated, and how these behaviors and actions, exactly, I'm aware, right? I'm a very aware person that I'm viewing and explaining to you that like this is how I truly feel, and I understand that like these actions are going to have consequences, and how like people will feel differently based on how I act, right? And I think it's a very good way to like vent and get it off my chest and to let you know that like there is a game plan. And here's the game plan, right? I think that it's not that Baki is doing so fucking bad. It's doing okay. It's honestly doing pretty decent. It's just not the level that I wished it was, right? And again, all these frustrations comes from the fact that like if I didn't care about the anime, I wouldn't cry about it, right? If it's some random ass shitty isekai fantasy show number 387 slop that we're eating up and it gets no views, I'm like, yeah, it is what it is, right? Yeah, it is what it is. No, it's not Psyche-K spoiling us about numbers. There's successful series and there's unsuccessful series. There's been other community series like Psyche-K that's done just as well too, such as Grand Blue or even Dress Up Darling that I forced down mid, as well as any other community series in the past too. It's just that I keep getting stuck in these ruts of being forced to watch long-running sagas of animes that people don't actually care about, and we need to do a better job navigating, right? I think Death Note is gonna be a different situation, and I don't know. I just want to just make this video, guys, to make you understand like my inner thoughts, my frustrations, how fucking upset I am about this shit, and how at the end of the day, these feelings are pointless. I need to just literally be an emotionless robot. I need to act as if it's not happening and just deliver the content. And that's really hard to do. It genuinely is. It's so hard to constantly just act as if nothing is wrong, put on a smile, and just have fun and watch shows. Because that's not human. I have the ability to do that, and I do that a lot. But at a certain time, it's just like, sometimes I want to like lift the curtains, man. Lift the curtains and show you guys that like there is a real person behind the screen thinking and contemplating about this shit. And fuck, man, it just sucks. It just sucks. TLDR, Monogatari fans are fraudulent? Not really. I appreciate them for coming to watch my content. It's an elite anime. I get why it's not popping off. It's a very niche anime. I'm very upset that the polls aren't reflective of the actual viewership. But I mean, if you think about it, what were the poll results really? 39% of 12,000 people came out to vote for Bake. If we look at Nisei and Death Note, that matures out like 10,000 votes. What was that? Like 50-50? What's the average viewership Bake right now after the third day? Roughly 4,000 views. So if you think about it, yeah, that's about right. The people that voted are coming out to watch. It's just that there is an extra factor to it. So basically, this is what I expect for Death Note and some other shows that do really well, such as Psyche-K too. There are the core community that vote for it, but once that votership, so basically when you upload a video, that votership, that audience will be the ones watching it. And after that has been done, it goes through another cycle where it goes through an external audience. And that is when successful community reactions are done. That happened for Psyche-K, it happened for Grand Blue, that happened for Dress Up Darling, that happened for other successful shows. But then there are shows like Monogatari where there is no external traffic. It's just all boxed inside. And I believe that it's going to be a different case for Death Note due to how mainstream appealing it is. And it makes a lot of sense that we're missing that part with Monogatari. And I think that at the end of the day, I should just be grateful that we even have that like internal audience to come out and watch. And I should shift my perspective. I should be brutally cold and logical and shift my perspective and realize that, yeah, it's not going to get that external community. It's dead. It's a very niche show. And we're lucky that we're even getting this. And my standard of expectations was placed too high, and that I need to recalibrate my attitude towards about this shit. And I need to stop crying about this shit. Because the more I complain and doom about this, the more that the vibes die. The more that I'm feeling worse, the more that my chat is feeling off. And it's just a bad time. The whole point of this is to have fun. And this is not fun, you know? But it's real. It's real, and I just wanted to just convey these real emotions and have you guys think about this shit too. And this is not, again, a plead for like desperation that please you need to come watch this show. Genuinely, if you don't care about this series, don't watch it. There's no point watching a show if you don't care about it. Those are pity views, right? Like how I say about like new YouTube channels, like if you make a video and the only people that's watching it is pity views of your friends or your mom clicking it on a separate tab and watching it, that's not how you grow, you know? You need to have authentic, genuine viewership. And if this is the limitation that we have in Monogatari right now, I think that's fine. I've already talked about in depth of how the audience, even though the quantity is low, the quality is very high, and how they are able to pull up the Patreon and Twitch, even though it's limited on YouTube. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Recently, I've been also thinking that like the type of content that does really well on my channel aren't even like, hold up. So I've shown you guys this before, right? So this is the top 48 hours views. This gonna make Death Note enjoyers mad, summer anime tier list, and this is why Nicholas Light is wrong. Do you notice a pattern that there is no single actual anime reaction here doing well? I'm starting to realize, while this is an anime reaction channel, my main source of income is through Patreon through anime reactions. In terms of YouTube and engagements, I wouldn't say it's drama tubing. It's more of, I mean, but it also makes sense, right? I think that a lot of people enjoy these types of videos because it's so accessible, right? Because again, what did I just tell you guys about the natural disadvantage of reaction channels? When you're not watching a specific anime and you're not caught up on it, they're not gonna watch it. But this kind of general content, there is nothing prerequisite you need to do to watch it. Everyone can watch a tier list video even if they're not watching the videos. Everyone can watch drama videos. Everybody can watch stuff like this, right? And that's why those type of content are doing way better. And that's why, you know, specific anime reactions, it's more for Patreon, right? I think that it's foolish to just drop anime reactions because it doesn't quote unquote do well on YouTube. Anime reactions are a different breed of content that excels on Patreon, and it's more for monetized content. And for YouTube, it's more of use as a, you know, advertisement. And it's not that anime reactions are bad. There's definitely a very handful of specific animes reactions that do well. And due to the sheer volume, like I'm covering like 30 weekly series of fucking season, right? They're not gonna, of course they're not gonna all do well, right? Like of 30 fucking shows that we cover, we drop like 10 of them. And then the 20 stuff that we cover, like 15 of them are just fucking below average shows. And then of the 5 left over, those are the special ones, right? Like what was that this season? It was like To Be Hero X, there was like Lord of the Mysteries, there was Taco P, I think Silent Witch is amazing too, and I'm sure I'm missing something else out too, right? But it's simply due to the sheer volume of content that I cover. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Where is this video even going? TLDR? Stop crying. Straight up. Stop fucking crying. Just shut up and just make the content. Kill the emotions. And just move forward. Because the more that I doom and ruminate over my feelings, the worse the content's gonna be. And that's pretty much it.